I'm going to talk to you about one of the most important principles in fitness, which is progressive overload. Whether your goal is to build muscle, get stronger, burn fat, or feel more capable, this concept is important to understand. Progressive overload is the gradual increase of stress placed on the body during exercise. Basically, to keep seeing results, you have to challenge your body more over time. Here's why it matters. If you do the same workout over and over again, your body adapts and it stops changing. And that's when you plateau. So for example, if you're used to lifting 10-pound dumbbells in an exercise, you do 10 reps 3 times a week, your body's going to adapt. If you run the same 1-mile route in the same time, you're eventually no longer going to be challenged. You would not improve. Same goes with your muscles. So here's how to apply progressive overload. You don't have to always lift heavier weights, although that is one option. I'm going to go over 7 effective ways to apply progressive overload. The first one is basically the classic, just increasing your weight. Another one would be to increase your reps with the same weight. Another one would be to add on additional sets. So instead of doing 3 sets, you do 4 sets or 5 sets. Another one would be to reduce the rest time. Say you've been taking a 1-minute break. You could reduce it to 30 seconds. If you have a lagging body part, such as glutes, you could increase the training frequency to 2-3 times a week. You could also play around with the tempo if you were doing like a bicep curl. Instead of going up and then down, you could go up 1, down 2, 3, or go up 2, 3, and then down 2, 3. So that gives your muscles more time under tension. You can also increase the difficulty. Go from body weight squats to a goblet squat where you're holding a dumbbell. Say you're doing 3 sets of 10 push-ups. You might change over to 3 sets of 12 and then 4 sets of 10, and then you can elevate your feet to make it more difficult or wear a weighted vest. So tracking progress is key. That's why Energized is such an awesome app, because without tracking, it's impossible to apply progressive overload intentionally, because it allows you to record your weights, your sets, your reps, and how you felt. You can record it in the comments section. You can also review your logs and then make adjustments from there. So one of my clients was stalling in building her glutes. So we added another session. And then from there, we even added a second session. So we have like legs and then 2 other sessions of glutes. So she noticed real changes as soon as we made adjustments. So I want you to avoid these common mistakes, is doing too much too fast, because it's going to lead to injury or burnout. You also want to avoid neglecting recovery, because your muscles grow during rest, not just work. You also want to avoid poor form just to lift heavier, because you're going to plateau or you're going to get hurt. So let's talk about progressive overload for different goals. So if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to use overload to preserve your lean muscle while you're in a calorie deficit. And this keeps your metabolism strong. If you're working on strength, you want to focus on lowering your reps, using heavier loads, tracking your personal bests. For muscle growth, you want to mix increasing weight, reps, and volume over time. Train close to failure. For beginners, your number one thing is to start with good form. Overload doesn't always mean going heavier. Even if that means doing an extra rep, that is progress. So progressive overload isn't just about lifting heavier, it's about consistently and intelligently challenging your body and giving it time to recover so it can grow stronger. So I want you to think about one exercise where you could challenge yourself more this week. And just remember, consistency and progressive overload equals results. And if you're not progressing, you're maintaining. And if you're okay with that, that's great. That's fine. But if you want change, you've got to earn it through challenge.